It was one of those nights in Crescent Bay where the fog rolled in thick, swallowing the streetlights in a milky haze. The kind of fog that made you second-guess every step you took. But I never listened to warnings. I had just stepped off the last bus, suitcase rattling against the cracked pavement, eyes fixed on the Harbor View Inn. It stood like a stubborn relic, battered by decades of storms and neglect, yet somehow refusing to disappear. Its rusty sign creaked in the wind, swinging back and forth, groaning as if the building itself was alive and aware. I had read about this place online. Grainy photos, scarce reviews, all carrying the same eerie message: don't ask for room 47. Typical scare tactics, right? Perfect. I lived for that kind of thrill. The kind that made your chest tight and your heartbeat skip. The kind that reminded you were alive. Inside, the lobby smelled faintly of mildew and old wood polish. The bell over the door jingled as I stepped forward. Behind the desk, a young man looked up at me, pale and twitchy, like he hadn't seen a guest this late in months. "Evening," I said, setting my suitcase down. "Reservation under Lily Carter." He glanced nervously at the register. Room 12. Top floor," he said quickly, almost too quickly. "Room 12's fine," I replied casually, but my curiosity was already tugging at me. "Actually, you got a room 47? His hand froze mid-swipe, eyes darting to something behind me. "Room 47. Hasn't been used in over 10 years. It's off limits." 10 years? Must be one hell of a story, I said, half smiling. He didn't respond, just looked down at the register, avoiding my gaze. Perfect. I had to see it. The hallway leading to room 47 smelled faintly of salt and dust, the carpet threadbare under my feet. When I found the door, the tarnished brass number 47 seemed to leer at me, like it knew I had no business being there. I hesitated for a heartbeat, then slid the key into the lock. The door groaned open, a sound like bones stretching after years of stillness. Inside, the air was heavy, cold, pressing down like it had its own weight. The bed was made, sheets faded and stiff. A chair sat quietly in the corner, and then there was the mirror, huge, old, framed in ornate gold, chipped and dulled by time. I stepped closer, eyes drawn to it, and for a moment it was just me. Then I saw it. My smile wasn't mine. A flicker, subtle, wrong. "Who's there?" I whispered. Silence. Only my reflection stared back, but it didn't feel like me. My chest tightened. I turned to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. Locked. Trapped. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. A drawer in the nightstand caught my eye, slightly ajar. Inside were yellowed papers, letters, and a diary. My hand shook as I opened the top one. The name at the top made my stomach drop. Lily Carter. My name, written in handwriting I didn't recognize. The letters told the story of a girl trapped here years ago, her life ending in whispers and shadows. Room 47 wasn't just abandoned. It had kept her there, frozen, waiting, and now it was waiting for me. A voice cut through the stillness, soft, almost teasing. "Finally, you came." I spun. Nothing. My reflection in the mirror moved again, lips syncing with words I didn't speak. "Room 47 keeps its secrets." My knees went weak. Heart pounding. I stumbled toward the door. It wouldn't open. The room had become alive, aware of me. Memories I didn't have started flooding in. Another girl in the same room a decade ago. Her name was Lily too. Her fate was sealed. Past collided with present. The key that had brought me here wasn't just a key. It was a tether. "You can leave," the mirror whispered. "But only if you see. Only if you know." I scanned the letters, piecing together the tragedy. Betrayal, abandonment, a life erased. Room 47 wasn't evil. It was protective. It held the stories of those who vanished without a trace. Now it was testing me. I squared my shoulders. "I see you," I said aloud. "I know your story, and I won't let it end like yours." The mirror shimmered, and the other Lily stepped forward, almost real. "Then, you choose. Stay or go. One of us will be left behind." Adrenaline surged. I remembered the tiny fire escape window I'd noticed earlier. Sprinting across the room, I kicked at the door. It gave way. I fell into the hallway, lungs burning, heart hammering. The building seemed normal again, lights flickering, the lobby empty. Outside, the fog had thickened. The night felt darker than before, swallowing the street. I ran, suitcase bouncing, never looking back. When I finally dared, just for a second, the window of room 47 glowed faintly, a silhouette, smiling, waiting. Some doors, once opened, never truly close. Deep down, I knew I'd never be the same again. Crescent Bay was quiet. The fog swallowed the streets, hiding secrets old and new. Somewhere, in a hotel forgotten by time, room 47 waited patiently for the next curious soul. The fog clung to my coat as I ran down the cracked sidewalk, suitcase dragging behind me, each wheel squealing against the uneven pavement. My lungs burned. My heart felt like it would tear out of my chest, but I couldn't stop. Not yet. Not after what I'd just seen. Room 47 wasn't just a room. It was a trap, a living memory, a vessel holding lives like mine that had walked too close to its secrets. I remembered the letters, the diary entries, the cries hidden between the lines. The girl from a decade ago, my other self, maybe a reflection of what I could become, had tried to leave and failed. Her words haunted me. Some doors, once opened, never truly close. Now I understood. The room wasn't finished with me. It wanted acknowledgement. It wanted me to carry the story forward, to survive and remember. The street was deserted, the fog muffling every sound except my own ragged breaths. I glanced over my shoulder. Nothing. But something inside me screamed that it was still watching. I tightened my grip on the suitcase handle and forced myself to keep moving. The lights of Crescent Bay flickered in the distance, a promise of safety. But I knew safety wasn't coming for me tonight. I ducked into a narrow alley, the walls slick with moisture, neon reflections bouncing on the wet bricks. My mind raced. The mirror, the other Lily, the whispers, they were all pieces of a puzzle I had to solve before I could feel free. The hotel hadn't just been waiting for me. It had been preparing me to see, to understand, to face whatever haunted that room. Then I saw it, a shadow moving at the corner of the alley, fast, almost silent. My stomach dropped. Could it be her? The reflection? I stopped, holding my breath. The shadow paused like it was studying me, judging me. Then it vanished into the fog. I swallowed hard, forcing my legs to move again, forcing my mind to stay rational. I reached the edge of the pier, the water dark and churning beneath the broken boards. The wind whipped my hair into my face, stinging my eyes, but I didn't care. I needed to think, to remember everything that had happened in that room. The key, the mirror, the letters. Room 47 was more than a room. It was a story, a memory, a warning. And it had chosen me to carry its weight. I sank onto a bench, suitcase at my feet, and tried to calm the chaos in my mind. Images of the other Lily kept flashing, smiling, crying, pleading, disappearing. And then I heard it, a faint, familiar whisper drifting on the wind. "You came back." My heart skipped a beat. I looked around, no one. Just fog, water, and the distant glow of the inn across the bay. I realized then that it wasn't over. Not even close. Room 47 didn't just let go. It lingered. It haunted. And somewhere deep inside, I knew it was still reaching for me, still tethered to my life. I pulled out the diary from my coat pocket, the one I had grabbed in the rush to leave. I opened it carefully, hands shaking. The pages fluttered in the wind. Lines I hadn't noticed before leapt out at me. To see is to survive. To survive is to remember. That was it. That was what I had to do. I had to remember everything, to carry the story forward, or it would never end. I closed the diary, gripping it tight like a lifeline, and stood. The pier creaked beneath my weight, groaning under the wind and my fear. I looked back at the inn, its windows dark and watchful. I didn't see the glow of room 47 anymore, but I could feel it. Waiting, patient, eternal. And I understood. I wasn't running from it. I was running with it. I was part of it now, bound by choice and necessity. Some doors, once opened, never truly close. And I would carry this story, this memory, this haunting, wherever I went. Because surviving room 47 didn't mean escaping. It meant remembering. The fog began to lift slightly as the first hints of dawn touched the horizon. Crescent Bay was waking, the streets slowly filling with the sounds of life. But I didn't feel safe yet. I never would. Room 47 had marked me. Its secrets had become mine, and somewhere, in that old inn, it waited for the next curious soul, the next visitor daring enough to enter, unaware that some stories never end. I turned away from the pier and walked toward the awakening town, the diary clutched tightly. My steps were unsteady but determined. I was carrying a story that refused to die, and I was alive to tell it. Room 47 wasn't just a place anymore. It was a part of me, etched into my memory, my mind, my soul. I ran through the narrow streets of Crescent Bay, the diary clutched to my chest, my thoughts spinning like the fog around me. Every step echoed with memories from Room 47. The mirror, the other Lily, the whispers that had clung to my mind like smoke. I knew one thing for sure. Whatever haunted that room wasn't gone. It had followed me. It had chosen me. The first rays of dawn cut through the thick fog, illuminating the cracked pavement, the shuttered windows, the empty streets. I paused for a moment, trying to catch my breath. Somewhere deep inside, a cold, familiar pull tugged at me, urging me to go back. My heart thudded as I realized I couldn't escape what had already become part of me. Room 47 wasn't just a memory. It was alive in my mind, stitched into the very fabric of my being. I approached a small cafe opening for the morning rush, its neon sign flickering weakly, casting pale light on the wet streets. I slipped inside, hoping to ground myself in normalcy. The aroma of coffee and fresh bread hit me, but my mind was elsewhere. Every reflective surface made me jump. I half expected to see her, the other Lily, standing behind me, waiting, judging. I sat at a corner table and opened the diary once more. The pages were fragile, yellowed, each word a thread tying me back to Room 47. The entries spoke of fear, loneliness, and a strange kind of hope. The hope that someone would understand, someone would remember, that someone had arrived, that someone was me. I ran my fingers over the inked letters, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing down like the heavy air inside that room. Suddenly, a whisper floated across the room, barely audible over the clatter of coffee cups and chatter. "You're not done," it said. My head jerked toward the sound, but no one was there. My pulse quickened. The whisper wasn't from outside. It was inside me. I realized then that Room 47 didn't just haunt spaces. It haunted minds, hearts, the very essence of those who dared to enter. I left the cafe, pulling the coat tighter around me, suitcase in hand. The streets seemed endless, twisting into alleys and empty lots. The fog thickened again, curling around my legs like fingers, and then I saw it, an almost imperceptible glow in the distance. My heart skipped. Room 47. Even from across the city, it called to me. Not the building itself, but the story, the pull of the past demanding attention. I followed the glow until I reached the pier again. The water lapped quietly against the old wooden boards, mist rising from its dark surface. I set down my suitcase and looked out over the bay. Reflections of light shimmered and twisted, forming fleeting images, faces, shadows, whispers of those trapped within Room 47. And then I saw her, clearly this time. The other Lily, stepping out from the mist, eyes locking with mine. "Why?" I asked, voice trembling. "Why me?" She smiled faintly. "Because you saw, because you remembered, because you were brave enough to acknowledge the story." A cold wind whipped through the pier, tugging at my hair, carrying with it the faint scent of old wood and rain. I understood now. Surviving Room 47 didn't mean leaving it behind. It meant carrying it, bearing witness, telling the story, living the memory, never forgetting. She reached out, a hand shimmering with misty light. I hesitated. Then I stepped forward, fingers brushing hers. A surge of energy pulsed through me. Memories, emotions, whispers of those lost and waiting flowing into my consciousness. I stumbled back, breathless, overwhelmed but alive. Room 47 had chosen me, yes, but it hadn't broken me. Not yet. The silhouette of the inn faded as the sun climbed higher. Crescent Bay awakened, unaware of the horrors, secrets, and stories threading through its streets. And somewhere, far above the ordinary, Room 47 lingered. Not a room anymore. Not just a place. It was a living story, eternal, waiting for the next soul curious enough to enter. I turned from the pier, diary clutched tight, suitcase trailing, and walked toward the awakening town. The memory, the story, the haunting, it was mine to carry. And as I walked, I knew this was just the beginning. Room 47 had marked me. It had changed me. And some doors, once opened, never truly closed. I paused, looking back one final time. The fog was lifting, but in my mind, the room remained vivid. The mirror, the whispers, the other Lily, they were all part of me now. And deep down, I smiled. Survival wasn't escaping. Survival was remembering. And I would remember, always.